Hey ladies, it's Jen Mack, Lady of the Mind. Welcome to today's episode where I hope I am finding you valuing yourself. If you are not valuing yourself, then it is my intention that in today's episode I give you just one nugget of inspiration towards your transformation. So I had a conversation with a friend of mine today, and she is currently working towards leaving her work environment. And we were talking about, she's been there a long time. She brings a lot of value to this work environment, to this space, a lot of value in my personal opinion. And the bosses and management don't really appreciate her. They don't give a lot of gratitude or recognition. And at this point in the game, she is thinking that with her leaving, they won't even bother to feel anything, like it'll just be this see ya, okay, bye, and she's been there for years and has given her heart and soul into this business to help it to be in this elevated, beautiful space. And we were talking on the phone and she was quite upset. She's like, I'm so done being here. I'm so done, not being valued, not being where they're just not grateful for the things I do. They're not appreciating me. The one boss isn't even talking to me. And she's like, I'm just so done. I'm going to miss my guests and I'm going to miss, the production of stuff that she used to do. And she's just like, I just can't do it anymore. And I said, I totally understand, because between you and I am 100% advocate for going after your happiness. Do what you can in the moment, in the mix of things. Try to help people see your perspective. Try to change your perspective. Try to be flexible. Try to bring in as much perspective as you can so you can grow and change. But if it's still not conducive to your happiness, my thought is get the F out of there. That's my thought. My journey is a little bit different but it depends on what you value. If you value security and financials, where you need a paycheck and whatever, then fine. But I value my health and my happiness above anything. So that's why I quit my last job, because I was like, it was draining me emotionally and physically. It was starting to bother me. And now I am happy. I'm energized. I feel amazing. My body feels amazing to be in it. My family is appreciative that I quit, because I just couldn't make the change and I couldn't let go of the things that I needed to create a difference there. So anyway, I'm supportive of her, and I've watched her shift and change over the last year, some of these changes in this negativity and how it's affected her well-being. And anyway, and so she's like, and I just wish, she says, I just wish that they would recognize what I do and they would give me some appreciation. They would value the things that I brought to this business. And I said, you know what? I said, here's the thing about value. This business that I just left, the space that I just left, I totally understand where she's coming from. And the space that I just left, this woman that I was working with that I feel like has a real serious problem and is like a compulsive liar, and I do believe has some mental issues. Anyway, and through this relationship and this recognition, I realized to myself that I'm a woman of integrity and I do the very best I can in the relationships that I'm in. And I work hard to maintain those relationships. And when I can't maintain them to the level that feels good to me, then typically I tend to withdraw. And when I was looking at this particular relationship and this, what could have been a great friendship, and I realized the things that were going on, I then withdrew from the friendship. I don't have any communication with this woman anymore. And it's sad to me, but it's okay. It's just something that has to be done. And anyway, I was standing back going, you know what? I know what I did. I know what I brought to the table, and I value the things that I believe were in my best interest in this relationship, if that makes sense. But I looked at myself and saw the value that I brought. And what I was telling this woman is, you have to stand back. It doesn't always matter what other people think about you. It really, really matters what you think about you. So if you find value in what you're doing, then that's where your focus should go, versus it goes out there. in the world, because people might not value what I do. They might not like the way I dress or talk or the things I teach or my perspective. And that's okay. It's my perspective. And this is my experience. And as best as I can make it, this is what I am coming up with in the world, based on the things that I'm learning, based on my experience, based on all of these things that I am trying to figure out of how to live this life, how to do the best that I can with what I've been given, and then learning as much as I can. And then now I want to share some of those things just in hopes that maybe I motivate somebody to do something grand in their life, just to move towards that happiness. So when I look back at anybody who's got something of value, which is everybody has something to bring to something, and you all have value. And I think it's really important to stand in a place that says, you know what, this is what I do. This is what I'm good at. Here's what I've done. Here's what I brought to the table. These are the things that I think anybody would value. Anybody would think that this was important, or anybody would think that this was amazing. And it's okay if they don't. But what's important is that you think it's amazing. So I was telling her, she's very creative, and I was telling her, the things that you do is your heart and soul. And it is like this raw, organic love that you bring to the table. So because they're not giving you the response that you want, don't lose sight of what you bring. The gift that you share is incredible, and it is pure, natural love, and it is a pure gift. And be okay with the people that you're doing, that technically she was doing it for. Be okay that they didn't receive it, because it doesn't necessarily mean that they didn't like it or they didn't really truly appreciate it. But until you can really receive something, you can't really be grateful for it. Maybe they didn't think they were worthy enough. Maybe they didn't feel like they were deserving enough. But I want you now to think about yourself in this way of, what do you bring to the table? What kind of person are you? And what do you value in life? And those things that you value in life are the things that you will strive for. It's the things that you will share. And it's the things that you will teach others. And as you are moving through your life, your values will change. You know, when I was younger, it was all about play. Well, it's still a lot about play. And it was a lot of candy and Mountain Dew. But now I value health and happiness. And I value my clients. When I was younger, I really valued myself. And there's still some of that self-absorbent, however you say that, selfishness part of me, where it's kind of what I want. And I do try to bring in, but I do struggle with that sometimes, where I can be kind of selfish and self-absorbed. And I was reading an article the other day about being self-obsessed, and I'm like, ooh, that could be me too. And I do try to get out of that, but I'm in my own head, right? But my comfort, my happiness is really important to me, and I will go to all lengths to maintain that. What will you go to all lengths to maintain? Your money, your freedom, your security, your love, your passion. What do you value? And I think knowing those things helps us to structure our lives. I just read an article. I just got off my business call just a couple hours ago, and she was talking about the things that motivate us as business owners. And she was saying that you probably should be motivated by money, because then you're going to move towards making more money. And I'm not motivated by money. I feel like I should be, but I'm not. What I'm motivated by is achievement. I took a couple of different tests, and they both said one was accomplishment and one was achievement, which to me, these two different tests sort of kind of meant the same. The other one was completely far off, was wrong. But these two other quizzes is about achievement. It's like, I love projects. I love to complete tasks, and I love to work with a group. And so being an entrepreneur and starting at these early stages of my constantly developing business, I always feel like I'm at the early stages because I'm constantly changing how my business goes. But But being at this kind of ground level in my business as it grows is I always feel like I'm by myself. And so that's really challenging. So I value the team effort, which is why my drive to build communities of people, communities of women specifically, as this understanding of how we think, what we feel, and then how to move through some of those tough emotions because we feel things so deeply. And I think it's really important to, as you see what you value, is to try to create more of that in your life. We had a girl, a new lady that showed up on our sister group, and she just really loves plants. Loves plants. Like in her previous home, she had like 112 plants or something in her house. And she values them so much. But then when she moved, her and her husband went and lived in an RV. They got rid of all the plants. They got rid of the house, the plants, the furniture, the whatever. And now they're in this RV. And she said, I just missed my plants. I said, go get more plants. And she had attached the belief that if I get plants and I put them in this RV, that this RV now becomes my permanent home. And I don't want it to be my permanent home. But we made this belief. She created this belief around this thing that became permanent. The belief became permanent. If I have plants in this space, and that is telling the universe that I want this to be my permanent home, and I don't want to tell the universe that. I said, plants make you happy. And you can do whatever you want. You can always change what you're asking for. You can always change what you're asking for because you can ask for something and the universe will give that to you and you'll be like, okay, wait, no, that's not what I meant. And then you ask it again in more clarity. The things that you value are no different. So if I value working on a team, then maybe my focus should be trying to find a team to work with because I value that. And that would make me happy. And that maybe would make my business faster. Maybe it would make it grow. Maybe it would make things easier for me. Maybe I wouldn't be dealing with such negative emotions sometimes, right? The other, if I value achievement, well, how can I start bringing that motivation into my business? Because there is something to say when I'm always striving for achievement, that's what motivates me. If I'm always striving for achievement, and then once I do the thing one time, then I've achieved it. And now I'm on to the next thing. Well, that can make a really squirrely entrepreneur. That means that I'm always shifting and changing. Well, if I look back at the track of my business, the trail, what am I always doing? Oh my gosh, I'm constantly shifting and changing my business. So I was a personal trainer. So I did a bunch of one-on-ones and then I'm like, okay, I'm really good at this. Next. Then I started teaching boot camp classes. I became a certified trainer for teaching classes. I ran a boot camp for 2 years. I was successful at it. I really enjoyed it. Next. Then I became a life coach and I did one-on-ones and I was really good at it. And then I was like, then I'm bored with it. Moving on to the next thing. Then I did group workshops. Then I was a public speaker and I started speaking on stages and I got really good at it and I really, really love it. And I just keep next, moving on. Maybe what I do is I take that achievement sensation and I go, how do I now stay in this category so I can build my business? Because I think I'm moving around so quickly that people can't follow me. And I just tend to like lose people all the time because I'm constantly shifting gears. So you've heard my journey about being a speaker. I started out $100 for when I got on stage, $100, which is nothing for speakers, nothing. And I sort of ended my speaking career is definitely in the clouds, but I'm not actively looking for speaking engagements. But hey, if you need a speaker, let me know because I do still love it. But maybe instead of the achievement is the actual getting on stage and doing the activity and now I'm good at it and then I'm done with it is now go bigger. Like I got all the way to my very last time on stage. I made $5,000 for the keynote. Well, that was a huge accomplishment for me. You guys, even as a speaker, that is still a low amount. Like speakers are easily 5 figures, easily. To get a really good speaker. Now you can get speakers all over. I mean, schools bring in trainers. They don't make 5 digits. Or big organizations, speakers, if someone is a speaker, they're making 6 figures or more or high 6 figures in their business because speakers get paid very, 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 very well. And so even at $5,000, I was a low income and I'd been speaking for over 10 years and I'm really good at it. So which is something I value. Teaching, speaking, which is what I'm doing. Look at, I'm standing in my office and I am speaking to you, to whoever's listening to me. Could be years from now. This podcast will still be running. And I value that. So I need to do more of that. And if I do more of the things I value, then what does that create for me? It creates more fun. It creates more happiness. If you do more things that you value, what does that create for you? Well, make a list. What are the things that you value? Take some quizzes online. Go find things that motivate you. How are you motivated? Where do you like to work? What kind of environment? What kind of person are you? What things do you value? Get a values list. If you're in our, well, you can check out my Facebook or my podcast and find the value sheet. And that's several podcasts back. I might be able to find the name here in a second, but if you go back far enough, you'll be able to do this list, and it's just this huge list, and you can download it and or just go find one. Go to Google and type in a values list, and then circle all of the things on there that just resonate with you. Then now do that until you're done. Then now take that list and bring it down to your top 20. Then take that list and bring it down to your top 5. And now look at that list. Do you have that flowing in your life? Do you have those values in your life? Mine is freedom. My number one value is freedom, which is why I quit jobs all the time, because I just love my freedom. Do I value freedom over money? Sometimes I think I probably should. Amy would probably wish I did, but it's definitely a close second, because I also love the freedom to do things. And in order to do things, I have to have money. Now, the things that I love to do don't always include money, but I have to drive there. If I want to go rock climbing, which is free in Utah or in Southern California, I have the equipment. I now have the time, but I don't have the money to drive there, right? So I do need money for those things. They feed my freedom. But look at those two things for me go hand in hand. Freedom and money. So I can go to the store and buy things. I could shop for Amy and not even think about the price tag. I can travel. I can hold women's retreats and speaking events in my own environment. And I can just rent a space and invite women to show up and just show up and build a community and reach out to people. I would love that. But it's got to fit into my value system. So I encourage you to get a list, write those things out, figure out what your values are, and then figure out how to incorporate those values into your life on a regular basis. If you value freedom, then figure out how to create more freedom. If you value money, figure out how to create more money in your life. Now remember, money can make more money. So maybe you need to educate yourself. If you value quality time, who do you value quality time with? And how do you get to spend more time with that person? How do you get to create those things in your life? At the end of the day, you're going to ask yourself, did I make a difference while I was on this planet? And did I live a happy life? Did I make a difference and did I live a happy life? And at the end of my days, whether I die today or 80 years from now or whatever, I want to know that I made a difference in somebody's life. And I want to know that at the end of the day, I lived a big, beautiful, bold life. And if you want some help with this, join us. I am on a rampage, I want to say. I am swinging from the mountaintops, or swinging from the trees, shouting from the mountaintops about this community that we're building. I have a 5-day challenge coming up Monday at 1 o'clock, September 12th, at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you can join me live. It's a free challenge. Send me your email. You can email me your email. You can send me a Facebook request or an instant message and send me your email, and I'll get you hooked up with the workbook and the replays. You can have all that delivered right to your inbox. But listen, I'm building a community, and I know that there are women out there who need this. I know, because I was one of them. I was a very lonely woman on a deserted island with a billion other people, and I just couldn't get my shit together. So I had to do it by myself. And it is my journey that I'm bringing forward to you to help you create a life for yourself. I hope to see you on the challenge or I hope to see you in the group. I hope to see you in the community. And I hope you trust me. After you've been listening to me for a while, I hope you begin to trust me so you will join me. If you liked this episode and you look forward to future episodes and are really looking for a community to help support you with implementing the tools that we're talking about in this podcast, please consider joining our online sister community called Lady Rising on Facebook, where we focus on that spiritual support and connection, just like in today's episode. I hope you'll join us. Go to Facebook, type in Lady Rising, and tell me you came in through the podcast.